Welcome to Female Voices, Life and Loss, a podcast dedicated to women from all walks of life. Whether you're navigating through loss, seeking growth, or simply looking for a place to feel understood, you've come to the right space. Each week, we provide compassionate guidance, share diverse stories, and offer practical advice to help you heal, grow, and thrive. No matter where you are on your journey, we're here to walk with you. Let's grow together.
Okay, I'm really excited to share with you guys today. Look at this beautiful woman next to me. We met, gosh, it's been maybe 6 months ago. So May, and this is October. So how many months is that? You guys figured that out.
Not a math genius.
Yeah, me neither. I hosted a bereaved Mother's Day event.
Yes.
For bereaved Mother's Day. And you were a guest at that event.
Yes.
That is where we met. My opinion, it was a beautiful event. I planned it, but you attended.
Yes.
And
yes,
we
I did.
just been, I think, really, that happened in May, and then we connected maybe August.
Yeah.
And from August till now, lots of things are happening. And
yes.
we have decided to co-host a podcast together.
Fun.
So we're super excited about coming together, both experiencing loss, but we are both females that have a lot of other things we'd like to talk about on this new podcast.
So true. So I was actually led to your bereavement group, not group, but event from a friend, Jill. Me and Jill had been in 3 groups together, I believe. And so she told me about it. Jill's amazing person. Love her so much. Hate that we all have this in common of grief.
Yeah.
But the event was amazing. So my favorite part was
it was okay then.
horticulture. I can't say it right. Working with the plants. So I have developed a passion, not real ones because they die. So I just do it with the plastic ones. You saw it. I'm just doing plastic ones. But yeah, so this was really, really impactful, just meeting with you and talking to you and just learning about your mission and just how you want to give back. And that's all I want to do too. I just want to serve. I want to make people life a little bit better, even if it's just 1% better going through this transition called life.
Well, and it's always just 1% at a time. It can become better. So
true.
I am just really excited about us, teaming up on this. Just because I think there's going to be so much growth in each one of us, but the growth from other people will also be. So we're excited to be on this journey together.
Yes, we are. It's going to be fun, amazing. There might be some tears, though.
Yeah.
Because life is like that sometimes, and that's okay.
And laughter, which you've already experienced from us. We love laughter, especially with
There's a hug to my soul.
This is my beautiful friend.
Oh, it takes one to know one.
Share your name.
Say,
So I'm Teresa. You know me. I think. Maybe you don't. Maybe this is the first time you've been introduced to me. So I'm Teresa Reiniger.
I am Wayna Berry.
So you say that different, I think, every time. What would you like people to know you as, Wayna or Wayna?
Well, I find
we're going to settle this right now for me.
Okay.
Hopefully it will help.
Let me say.
Help you as well.
So my family calls me Wayna.
Okay.
But family. It's hard for people to say Wayna all the time.
Okay.
Unless I explain the origin that my mother's name is Laverne and my father's name is Wayne. And they wanted a boy. And so when I came, they were like, ugh.
Now what are we going to do?
All right.
Now what are we going to do?
So I think my mom wanted me to be named. My father wanted me to be named Laverne. And my mom's like, no, I don't want her to, So then they came up with Wayna. I honestly would have preferred Laverne because at least everybody knows how to pronounce that as soon as they glance at it.
But since they don't know how to pronounce my name, I go through this daily of all of my life of 40 plus years of explaining what my name is. So
And here I'm asking you to do it again.
So
Sorry
I say
about that.
Wayna. I say Wayna because it's just usually easier for
Okay.
other people to pronounce.
Okay.
But some people get it off the bat. They look at it and they say, "Oh, your mom wanted a boy," right off the bat. So, Wayna.
Lovely. I'm not sure what
my
I
name.
will
Yeah,
call you, if I'm
yeah.
going to be considered family or if I'm just a co-host with you. And
We just go with whatever rolls off the tongue.
Whatever
Is it
comes.
easier to say Wayna or is it easier to say Wayna?
I think for me, Wayna
Okay.
is what I'm going to
I'm
go with.
Wayna. I'm fine with that as well.
You can say whoever you want.
I
but
thought
that's what
about
I'm
changing my name, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, I want to be Lisa. People can spell that. They understand what it is.
Well, let's not talk about spelling names because Teresa, like how many different ways you spell that.
Yes,
So
at least 3 or 4 that I know.
yeah. So we can talk about spelling. Let's not get into that because sometimes that gets a little frustration sometimes when people don't get it right. So I can relate.
Yeah, I get so much mixed comments, But the reality is that for African Americans, we could not name ourselves. So when we could, we got super creative with all of that, So coming over as slavery, they just gave you a name. They stripped you of your history and all that. So part of the collected names is taking some of our power back.
Gosh, that might be a whole episode on you explaining and educating me on all of that.
Hey, I'm here.
I would love that. And that was one of the things that I love that we're going to work together on this because I'm going to gain a lot of more knowledge after doing the podcast previously for 4 years. I feel like I've learned a lot, and now I'm one that I want to be a continuous learner, always growing and learning. So
Me too.
I'm so looking forward to us doing this together so that I can become more educated. It's all selfish on my part.
Mine as well.
I think when we share our personal stories and the impact of that, people heal with hearing other people's stories and just the realization that they're not alone on the journey. So just you sharing your story. I know you want to give to others so that they heal. And
it fills me up though.
Giving of yourself and sharing your story will support and heal them as well. Anything in particular you want to talk about? Concerns? Always. We're available to support and help.
Yes.
And as we get going on the podcast, topics that you have that you'd like to share to help others, we're in for it. All topics, pretty much. I think I shouldn't say all topics, but I'd say almost every time. We might be uncomfortable with a few that we won't do.
Yes. Love, compassion, and support.
Yeah.
In those areas.
Anything that deals with women and what they are, where they need support.
So we're going to just dive into a little bit about our personal career journeys that's led us up to this point. So
personal career journeys, because our careers now are definitely very similar, okay, but what led up to this?
Yes. How did you land on wanting to be a grief coach? How did you get here?
I'm going to share several careers here that I've done. So of course, like everyone, babysitting. So loved kids, always babysat. Food restaurant, like almost everyone, a food restaurant came after that. After that, I've worked at a nursing home. I've worked at medical offices, medical doctors, with plastic surgery. I haven't had any.
Oh,
I worked there, but it didn't get it. I guess I didn't really want a discount or needed anything.
I think I would have took it.
I would have got a discount. Now that I think about that.
Yeah.
I really missed out there.
But I do like that you didn't feel the need,
No.
I do love that.
Yeah. And then I would say most recently I worked at a funeral home. I worked there probably the longest of everywhere
Really?
that I worked. I was there over 15 years, and I think that's kind of what brought me to the thread. But prior to that too, I think back at, where does coaching come in? And I can remember I just had a friend recently. Actually, I coached her in softball and I think in basketball when I was like 16 years old, because she said to me, your boyfriend helped you. And I said, who was my boyfriend? And she said, your husband. I was like, yeah, I've known him for a long time. So coaching, youth ministry, that's all played a part. And so from really the funeral home, from there was kind of health and wellness, always into health and wellness. And then the grief coaching. The grief coaching really became from the podcast because I was doing the podcast. Back then it was named Labor Pains. And from there,
Accurate.
From there, I just found that there was so much grief within having children, not having children, infertility, miscarriages, losses. And that's where my daughters were at that time. And so that led into grief coaching. And now makes total sense that that's where I've landed. You can probably tell, like, there's a thread that's been woven through my life that has brought me to where I'm at. And so at 60, I decided
She looks great, doesn't she?
This is what I was going to do, is help women really navigate losses, navigate grief.
I love that, because women have so much power, especially on the other side of 50, where you're just like, I'm not taking on anybody else's stuff anymore. I'm going to, my kids are older. I'm going to do what I want to do. I love it. I love that for you, because it's like, we're not worried about what society's saying. We're going to do what's right, that we feel in our soul, in our hearts, and it's so funny. You named so many things that I have already done.
Really?
Like, of course, I babysat, but I did not have the passion that she had about having a whole lot of kids. Like, I was like, structure. I'm 14 and I'm like, y'all are going to bed by 8 o'clock. Y'all not going to worry me all night. Everybody's fed, sleep, whatever, So I would babysit. I also got my first job working at a Wendy's. The school's resource officer, he walked me right in and got me a job. And I'm not going to tell you. And I guess I don't hear that a lot in St. Louis. I lived in Florida. So the school resource officers was amazing to me. My teachers were amazing to me. And even my first job working at fast food was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I had adults that just poured into me, and I just love that. We got bonuses. I got raises on a regular basis. Like, it was a completely different experience. And then working in a nursing home. Yeah. In Fort Walton Beach, Florida. That's where I lived at for several years of my life. But I think there is a thread of, I worked at a nursing home as a dietitian. I worked at the hospital as a physician's exchange operator. And so I just see the whole pathway of just hope, healing, serving, really caring about others that we both have kind of in our background. So it makes us really, really uniquely positioned. Now I can't say that I ever thought I would be in grief work. Cannot say that. But I always saw myself as being kind of a life coach or a therapist or something to help people figure out hard things. So I think we got that in common, though. Yeah.
One other thing that I remembered that I did, and I did this for several years, is I ran an in-home daycare.
See, she loves it.
See, when she said the kid thing, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I did that too.
Yeah. No.
That was just my way of staying home. With my kids, to stay home with them, as I just started an in-home daycare. And I did that a long time.
I have never had that urge to stay at home with children for 8 hours or more. And my husband's like, what? You wanted a baby so bad, you have a baby and you ship them to daycare.
Some people just can have more patience. for children than others, and it's okay.
That's true.
It's okay.
But
and
you
just even
hit the
working at a
nail.
nursing home. I mean, there's some.
No, I love the older people. Though.
Yes,
They're
yes, and that's
hilarious.
different.
And you
Yeah.
learn so much from the seasoned people, not older seasoned.
Yeah.
But I just never like being with a large group of kids for an extended period of time. Not even one. I'm like, he needs to go to daycare. I'll see you when you get home. And she hit something on the nail. Patience. The Lord has been teaching me this my whole life, and I have still not mastered it.
I don't think that's ever going to be, I hate to tell you, ever going to be something that you master. You know, I'm giving some wisdom to you because I'm older. It's not anything you're ever going to master, but still striving.
Grace. Yeah.
Yeah, striving. Give yourself grace.
Mm-hmm.
It's always important to strive for excellence.
Not there.
In everything that we do.
Not on this side of the sun, but
Not perfection, because we can never obtain. But some excellence in some things I think we can obtain.
okay, I'll write it down.
Right. So I love that
Work
we're
in progress.
discovering these things that we have in common. 'Cause that was a first for me.
Yes.
Interesting.
More to come.
More to come. Okay, here we are again. We're going to learn more about each other and allow you guys to learn right alongside of us.
Yes.
Because like we said in an earlier, we just met each other, but feel this connection that we want to do this. So we're learning
it's a God wink.
as we're sharing with as we're learning, we're sharing it with you.
Yes.
So we're going to do a little something here where we're going to ask each other questions that we've been thinking about, maybe or maybe not. That just pops in our head now to learn more about each other. So I do know you lived in Florida. So tell me a little bit about family. Like what's family look like in Florida, and how did you get in the St. Louis area? Tell me about family. Or parents, siblings. What's family to you?
Well, from, my culture, family is everybody. It could be, your church member. It could be your neighbor down the street. So we have a lot of extended family.
Okay.
But for myself, growing up, I lived in a house with my grandma, my mom, and her two sisters, and all of their kids.
Oh, wow.
So it could be anywhere from 15. Yeah.
The kid, it doesn't make sense now. The
Like,
kids.
no,
That's probably
no.
why.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's always loud. It
Okay.
was always chaotic.
I'm getting it.
But my mom ended up getting engaged. And her husband, when they got married, Rick, he was in the Air Force Station in
Okay.
Florida.
Okay.
So that's how we ended up in Florida.
Okay.
But my mom is a nomad. She likes to move every year.
Oh,
So
fun,
probably,
fun, fun.
yeah. So probably from maybe 7th grade to senior high school, I moved every year. So we lived in Germany for a little bit, and then they separated. Then we came to St. Louis, and then we went to Florida. Then we came back to St. Louis. Then we went to, so it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
So from 7th grade to 12th grade, I moved every year. Or probably to 25. I don't know. So moved a lot.
So I think about traveling, I need to make sure that I talk to you about where to go, or where not to go.
I don't know. We were poor. You know how you're poor, but you don't know you're poor.
Yes, I can relate to that.
So we were poor here in St. Louis, because it was probably that many people in like a 3-bedroom house or something. So, and then when we were Florida, things of being poor, you never really miss what you don't have. So we didn't have like our own rooms. We may have not even had our own beds sometimes, pallet on the floor type of thing.
Sure.
And you're eating Thanksgiving meals for 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. So, which is why I don't like any holiday food,
Ooh.
But so we don't want to talk about being poor. Being poor got me here. Thank you, Lord. We're moving on. But so family dynamics, I heard, you say that you've been with your husband. Forgive me if I mistake. So since high school?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know it's hard
That's amazing.
to believe. And I already alluded in another thing that I started doing this at age 60, and I'm older than that. So yeah, I've been with my husband, I guess really since I'm 16.
Wow.
You know, because I couldn't date until I was 16. I think I knew
latched
him.
on to
I knew him when I was 15, but you know, as far as mom and dad, they're in heaven watching. They're gonna surprise this. It was probably really 15, but it was close enough. They really did like him, loved him. And so
much easier.
So yeah, I was saying that it's close to, I guess, really 49 years that I've known him. We've been married. We're coming up on 46 years married in February.
Amazing.
So I don't know life before or after Tom. Tom's always been in life.
Oh, I'm so jealous that people that can have, you know, those kind of rich experiences, like my sister, her and her husband, like you could see the love just flowing from them when you saw them together. Like it just oozed. She oozed every romantic movie you've ever met.
Always though, or just sometimes? Because
grief came in.
Okay.
But I'm saying the whole time they were together, her husband wrote her poems that my sister should have published, but they were just beautiful, beautiful. But he ends up dying, so that's why I said grief comes in. But for those 2 years, I mean, 2 to 3 years, and he was just like, everything was all about my wife and my daughter. You know, he was like, I was happy to have he said, I didn't want any rockhead boys. I got a baby girl. And him, about baby girl, T said, so he's up there drinking tea with the 3-year-old. I mean, she's not 3, she was 3 months old. So he's just doing a little tea set. Like, he was that kind of guy. And so you guys give hope that, you know, romance is not dead. You know, it's beautiful. And I just can't even, like, how does that, you know?
This is going to have to be several episodes on different people and their relationships and how they get them to work. And
then with this culture with relationships as well, like it's kind of what do they call it? Like a microwave culture. I think that's why they you know, like you want an instant, you know, if I don't have this connection instantly or this doesn't work out instantly, then I'm just gonna throw it away, you know. Kind of a thing.
Have you heard of this? This is just because things pop in my head. Have you heard of divorce sleep?
No. What is that? You just sleep in separate rooms?
Yeah, when you get older, because somebody snores or somebody needs a machine or somebody is different. Well, you said earlier, like, you know, you're a night owl, I'm a night owl, husband's not.
Yep.
So it's like, that's a perfect example of, I think that's what they call it. It's a new term.
I was going to do that.
We'll have to research that.
I was going to do that, though. My husband, I was like, you're going to sleep in another room because I cannot. Like, I'm falling asleep in traffic because I cannot get enough sleep at night. But thank the Lord, my stepdad stepped in. He was like, daughter, you guys just got married. You cannot be having that man sleep in another room. So he's like, here's the CPAP machine, you know. Saved our marriage. I'm just saying. Thank you, Poppy.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of topics and a lot of purposes to talk about.
Because I got so much to learn, you know, about how do you keep a marriage for that long, 46 years.
Well,
how do
like
you
I
do
said,
that,
were they always romantic and passionately in love? And I would say for me,
but you guys persevered. You pushed through it. We did. That's the biggest.
We're not going to get into that whole subject right now. Because
another episode. Yeah, we'll talk about. We'll do an episode on because marriage. See how the dynamics come together. So she's with her husband since high school, and here I am, and I hate it. You know, Mama, forgive me, but Grandma and Grandpa were separated. Mom was married several times to several different people. I am on my second marriage, you know? So there's something to be said about those generational curses and that we are trying to be aware and to choose differently for our kids. So me and my husband both have made that, you know, kind of commitment.
Good.
So just saying all that to say there is nothing new under the sun. I have seen it. I have lived it probably. or I know 5 relatives who have. So we have a lot of wisdom, a lot of resources, and a lot of ways to consider a different way of living that's better.
I'm so excited for the podcast to start because just with these videos, we're learning a lot.
It's so much
Are you
fun,
taking
right?
notes that all these topics that we're going to have? We'll have to
Okay,
go
I
back and
did,
review. Okay,
but
we're gonna have to go back.
it'll come to me. I shoot from the hip. We get ideas all the time.
We're doing it right now.
Right. So, see you soon.
See you soon.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Female Voices Life and Loss. We hope today's conversation brought you comfort, insight, and a sense of community. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with others who might need it. Stay connected, stay resilient, and until next time, keep growing and healing.